Welcome back, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are on your purpose. Hope you guys are keeping with the plan. Today's a holiday in the United States, and so I want to make sure that I get a couple chances to do a couple videos while I'm doing stuff around the house. Hope you guys have, once again, a great day. Stay on your purpose. My dog Holly is barking in the background. So once again, thank you for the subscriptions, comments, likes, ideas. I'm looking for ideas, things that you want me to talk about when it comes to this journey. And it was a good question from Yahya, I think last night it was. And he had a question talking about, is it good to release energy? Let's go ahead and talk about this one a little bit. So the idea is it good to release energy? Now, I kind of talk about this in different ways, looking at brahmacharya, sophism, celibacy, things like that. And so the bottom line to me really is this, and I've gone through over 60 years many different types of experiences with all this. And in my opinion, the only time you should be releasing is when you want to have a child. That's my opinion. Let me talk about why that's the case, because we're all in different phases with this. Now, I'm at 60 years old, so I'm not going to have any more children. I'm not planning on having more children. So to me, I can now kind of focus on more different types of things, and I don't need to release. I'm at day 492, and hard mode at 17 days, and so I just feel unbelievable. I just feel unbelievable. I mean, I can't really express the benefits that just continue to make me feel healthy, and even in this time, not putting anything into my body, not putting anything that's negative and hurting my body. I can't tell you how wonderful it feels. It's just unbelievable strength, unbelievable vigor, a lot better than I used to. It's 10 times better than I used to, and so I can't really just describe that. But I am at a different point. Now, I had many years. I mean, it wasn't until I was 58, so I probably started a lot of this at 12, 13 years old. And so, you're talking, 40-some years of struggling with having any long-term types of benefits. So I'm in a different point. And so I had to, in order for me to really kind of come to an enlightenment in this, I did get the Fountain of Youth book. I was able to kind of use that as a start, and I did a lot of those exercises for 20-some years, and it benefited me to a certain level, but I was missing that sixth stage, and it wasn't until I was 58 that I was able to really learn how to control this energy. And all of you are at a different point. Many of you are younger. I look at my demographics, a lot are 25 to 34. You guys are in that point where you're going to get a lot more benefits from it, because you recognize it's an early age. I knew in the back of my mind, but the problem was that our society, a lot of people tell you that you need to be releasing, okay? And they tell you that it's the healthy and the thing to do. Well, I don't believe that any longer. And once I changed my thought pattern on that, and I wasn't saying, okay, I'm going to be, in trouble health-wise if I don't do it. Once I realized that that wasn't the case, and that I feel over the last 490 some days, I feel tremendous. So I know that instinctively this is telling me this is the right thing to do. So I would suggest anybody that is, starting this program out, you're at, 30 days, 90 days, 100 days, 150 days, 200 days, things like that. As you're moving through this, you kind of have to think about yourself, okay, what am I trying to accomplish here? What you should be is on your purpose and goal. And if you're on your purpose and goal, all these other things don't matter. And I did a previous video, I think yesterday, on body count. And the problem in our society now is we see a lot of young men and young women who are just kind of dissipating their energy all over the place. And when you start losing your energy, you feel weak. And you're more susceptible to illness, in my opinion now, and all these other types of things because of that. And so that's why I say you should not release unless you really want to create a child, because you have the power, my friends. Now I'm talking about the males here. You have the power to create a baby, a child. That means you have awesome, unbelievable energy and strength. And I saw a quote, I don't know who said the quote, but they said the difference between somebody who's weak and strong is their energy. And I know that. I know that through the experience I'm having here. It's just unbelievable strength that you have that I didn't have before. And I just can't describe it. I can't tell you exactly what it is to me. Difference. All I know is that it just feels unbelievable. And I kind of, I go back to when I was 10 or 12. I can't remember a lot of that, but I could remember a time, for what reason, that I didn't do this. I didn't have problems with all this. And I had just felt unbelievable. But then again, you're being taught and socialized in society to believe all this stuff about releasing and chasing after, in this case, girls, and doing all that kind of stuff. And somehow it makes you a bigger man. And you had people out there, you had all these entertainers and people who were having all these affairs, and the liberal movement that we had back in the 1960s. And those type things kind of come around and go around. After 50, 60 years of that, people are realizing that it's not so good that it was. It's not so good to be that liberal and just letting your energy all over the place. And I fully believe that. I think you need to kind of be in control of yourself, and you have to kind of choose when and if you're going to do this. Like I said, you might be in a different situation, so I'm not going to judge anyone who's doing anything, because I went through a lot of hard troubles back and forth on lots of different things in life. I'm the last person to judge anybody. But I will tell you this, in my examples, I went through periods of time where I went back and forth, and it was very difficult for me to establish any sort of long-term type of thing until now. And what I can tell you is that you're going to have temptation. Now, in my case, as the years have gone on, it's harder because you're bringing back a lot of memories and things of times that you did lose your energy and things like that. And so it's not easy to go ahead and change, what you're doing, and to kind of just change. It's almost like any addiction we're talking about. It's very difficult to go back and change the addiction. To go ahead and say, okay, I'm now going to stop doing the drugs. I'm going to stop doing the porn. I'm going to stop doing the eating, excessive eating. I'm going to stop, gambling. These things are not easy, and sometimes you have to take kind of steps. I could not have done monk mode 492 days ago. I couldn't have done that because I just wasn't strong enough. Now I got to the point where I tried it once for about 10, 12 days. It worked. Now I'm doing it again, and it's a little longer next time. So I believe, in my case at least, I had to work in progression. So I'm not going to judge anybody that's releasing, that has released and going back. The key, guys, is to accept this as a lifestyle. The key thing is to accept it as a lifestyle. And we'll talk about sophism in a second, because I'm also doing a video on that. But the idea is that you want to go ahead and make this a lifestyle, that you're going to commit to trying to keep as much energy as you have for the rest of your life. Now, I'm not just talking about the energy you have when you're releasing physically. That's a big energy. But there's also the emotional energy, dealing with people who are negative, pessimistic, and learning not to get angry, learning not to lose the energy that way. There's a lot of things you can do. You just know that from an example, right? You listen to somebody for about 2 hours and they're venting, and you try to internalize all their energy, and you're exhausted, right? It's almost like they've let their energy go, and it's on top of you now. And now you have to get rid of it. So you don't ever want to get angry and lose all that energy and be self-destructive. Because that's all it is. Being angry is self-destructive. Losing your energy through sex and intercourse is self-destructive. It's a matter of control. And that's why I go back to this idea of saying you've got to develop a lifestyle of control. And that's the biggest message that I can give her. We talked about the big C's, right? The 3 C's. Control comes first. Confidence will come after that, and communication will come after that, and success obviously happens once you do those type of things. All right? But the key, guys, is to be able to realize that I'm going to hold my energy in as long as I can, unless I'm deciding with someone that I want to have a child. And our purpose, guys, obviously is to have children, continue generation, our families, all that kind of stuff. And that's understandable and that's fine. But that should be the reason, in my mind, the only way that you actually go ahead and give your seed up. To do it any other way, to my mind, is just short-term pleasure. And it is really short-term pleasure, because then you feel bad. And I felt guilty and all kinds of other stuff after that when I did that. And I don't ever want to feel that way again. So the idea is that you want to have children, you want to go ahead and then you can give your energy up. But in my mind, at 492 days, the only time that would ever happen to me, right, is if I want to have another child. And we're just not going to do that, at our ages, right? So the thing is that for younger people in the audience, you've got to make that choice. Is this somebody who... See, the problem is, guys, if you want to go ahead and have a relationship and have a child with somebody, the question is going to be, can you take care of that child? Are you ready for long-term commitment? And that's what happens when we're talking about brahmacharya and sophism and celibacy, those type of things. It's a long-term commitment. The same thing with having a child. And so this all goes back to the idea that this should all come second. And I'm kind of speaking to the choir a little bit here, but guys, this is the battle we have every day, right? I mean, the fact that you can just go ahead and peek at something, start stimulating your thoughts. And, for males and females, we're human, right? We see somebody we like, well, our eyes trigger out. And we look at that, right? And all of a sudden now we become attracted. And so because we're attracted, now we go ahead and say, okay, let's continue this process because it feels good. And so we don't want to then go into that. And anytime we start peaking, that's a dangerous point. And you got to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to stop this. Now, how you do that, that's going to be up to each one of us. Like I said, I had to take steps. I could not do cold turkey. Now I can do monk mode, but it built up. It took time to do that. It's not something that happens overnight. And the same thing happens with any sort of celibacy that you're going to go into. You have to kind of build up to that, because any kind of addiction, you can't. It's very difficult for people to stop, do cold turkey. I know people have done it, but it's very difficult. Just go ahead and stop smoking after you smoked for 20 years. To stop eating, sugar and foods after all those years is not easy, right? Those type of things, those affect you. Those are things ingrained in your mind. And for you to kind of stop that is difficult. It's very difficult. That's why I say that you've got to figure out a plan to take it one step at a time in my book. Now, maybe some of you can do cold turkey. That's great. Blessed be for you guys. If you guys can do that, it's wonderful. But the idea is that the only time, to my mind, to answer this question again, and Yahya, thanks for the question. The only time you should ever release, to my mind at this point, is to actually wanting to have a child with someone. Because your energy is far too powerful. Regardless of what people tell you, all these things, I thought this was, whole different. I was living in a different matrix as I'm being realized day by day. A different matrix of what the world really is. And the bottom line is people are always trying to make money off of you selling things. And so if they can sell you products, they can sell you things. The number one thing is to be healthy yourself. Take care of your health yourself. And to my mind, artificial things, those type of things, they don't help your health. This imagery, this looking and peeking at porn, this doesn't help you at all. It doesn't do any good. Short-term release does not do any good. In fact, you're losing energy, and we become walking zombies after a while ourselves. All right, guys. Hope I answered the question. Yeah, thank you for a good question there. And until next time, battle on.